Well, good evening. Welcome everyone to our meet and greet. I am so excited to have Sally Finn with us tonight. And for those of you that are joining for the first time, this is a 30-minute phone call. This happens over Zoom. We host it every month, and we focus on a child topic that is relative right now, that's either going to legislation or that we're hearing about in our communities, or that is actually impacting one of our SLPs. So tonight, I'm really excited to have Safe and Healthy Duval with us and their executive director, Sally Finn. We'll have about 15 minutes for her to present, and then we'll do some questions and answers at the end. And then if there's anything in this that maybe you want to go back to, of course, it will be available on our YouTube channel that we'll be sharing in the future here. So thank you all for carving out the time to be with us. And I'm going to hand over our invisible mic to Sally Finn. I'll share a little bit about her bio online with everybody and our follow-up as well. So Sally, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for sparing us listening to that bio. I always cringe after I hear it and go, that is very long. I need to pare it down just a little bit. But thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present tonight. I am the executive director of Safe and Healthy Duval Coalition. Very early on, we had people in the community going, what the heck do you guys do? So we had a board meeting, and very quickly we became doing business at Drug-Free Duval. It kind of gives a little bit more of what we do. We started because in the spring of 2008, Duval County was shaken by a tragic yet preventable incident. A 15-year-old girl attended a party with some older teens where she was provided with a large number of alcoholic drinks, and she was sexually assaulted by other inebriated partygoers. That event, along with several alcohol-related car accidents involving teens and a high youth crime rate, culminated in growing community concern, which led to a small group getting together. And we actually, that was in 2008, we applied for a very small state incentive grant, which we got. And that's sort of how Drug-Free Duval was birthed. Today, DFD, or Drug-Free Duval, has become recognized as the community leader in substance abuse prevention and early intervention among youth and adults in Duval County. We work with both, but I know tonight we're going to be focusing more on the youth side. DFD's goal has been from the start, and is illustrated in our mission statement, to prevent and reduce youth substance use using data and evidence-based programming to link citizens, neighborhoods, programs, education, and public awareness. So how do we do that? And basically we and many other prevention coalitions work with what we call environmental strategies. And basically that's prevention planners are pressed to put in place solutions to urgent substance misuse problems facing their communities. And as we've just talked about early on in this conversation, or prior to starting, actually the opioid crisis is one of those very, very urgent problems facing all of our communities. But research and experience have shown that prevention must begin with understanding of these complex behavioral health problems within their complex environmental contexts. Only then can we establish and implement effective plans to address substance misuse. So to facilitate this, SAMHSA developed the strategic prevention framework. The 5 steps and 2 guiding principles really sort of help us do what we do. What are those 5 steps? First, we assess, we identify local prevention needs based on data. Then we look at capacity. What do we already have in place? We build local resources and readiness to address the prevention needs. And then planning. We want to find out what works to address prevention needs and how to do it well. And then we want to be able to implement. We want to deliver evidence-based programs and practices as intended. And then finally, we are in a constant state of evaluation. We are always looking what's working, what's not. And if it's not working, we do have the ability with most of our funding sources to pivot and really start addressing and helping that problem in a much greater way, rather than just spending money, spinning our wheels, and at the end going, well, we tried, but we really didn't get the outcomes that we were looking for. So the reason that you guys are here this evening is to hear about Know the Law. And I'm going to hold up this little booklet It's called Know the Law, and I actually can send you a PDF of this booklet if you are interested. And I realize that that looks backwards, but anyway, so Know the Law is an evidence-based program provided through Drug Free Duval. The Know the Law program aims to inform and educate youth and adults on the importance of following the law. The program also seeks to provide clarity to obscure misconceptions that students may currently believe, and believe me, they have a lot. And then we always want to stress that ignorance of the law is never an acceptable excuse for breaking the law. The Know the Law program is currently taught in middle and high schools by trained law enforcement. Very early on, we realized that the staff of Drug Free Duval, while very capable in presenting this training, it's much, much better for us to be able to have law enforcement presenting. It does a couple of things. One, it creates this amazing relationship between law enforcement and youth. It provides an opportunity for an open dialogue, and it also provides for some amazing stories from the law enforcement that actually can keep the young people's attention. The program consists of the Know the Law PowerPoint presentation, a pre and post test to measure knowledge gained, and then any technical support that we can provide. The information provided is appropriate for students 6th through 8th grade and 9th through 12th. And I was just sharing with Ali earlier that we are very excited to announce that as of today, as a matter of fact, we are going to create a elementary Know the Law based on the data point that shows the average age of onset of alcohol use in Duval County is age 11. So we really, really, really want to get ahead of the curve. That's what prevention is all about, right? So we're going to probably look at 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders and really kind of pare it down a little bit, but at least start having that conversation. The Know the Law is currently an approved strategy for Duval County Public Schools, which is the 12th largest public school system in the country. And it is also on the approved speakers list, meaning that teachers could call Drug Free Duval to come in and actually train Know the Law, and then we would just connect with our officers to come in and do that. It's also a part of the curriculum for the nighttime substance abuse program, which I'll talk about in just a minute, as well as mandatory sanctions for teen court and our neighborhood accountability boards. So any child that gets a civil citation and is given the opportunity to go through either teen court or the neighborhood accountability boards, taking a Know the Law class is a sanction, not only for the youth, but also for a parent or guardian as well. So some of the topics that we talk about in Know the Law, we define the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony. Really important to sort of have that basic groundwork. We talk about alcohol. We talk about narcotics, marijuana, tobacco and vaping. We talk about parties and hosting parties. We talk about weapons and guns, personal crimes, property crimes, especially the personal crime where stealing an iPhone is actually a felony because of the amount, the cost of the iPhone. So we talk about that because a lot of times they don't even know that. We talk about bullying, both physical bullying, but also cyber bullying. We talk about fleeing and eluding. And we also talk about aiding and abetting, so that if you get in a car that, somebody you haven't seen before and your buddy says, hop in, and then that buddy goes in a convenience store and robs it and comes out to the car, that person, that passenger in that car is just as liable for the crime that was committed as the person who committed the crime. So we talk about that. And then finally, we talk about future consequences. What does it mean to have a felony on your record? What does it mean for your schooling, for getting a job, and that kind of thing? We always want to throw in some personal stories, and it's just, as I mentioned, so much we usually run over with our time because the youths have a lot of questions. So I talked a little bit about the nighttime substance use prevention counseling education program. That is a program through Duval County Public Schools. If a young person in middle school or high school is convicted of a code of conduct violation related to drugs or alcohol, they are given the opportunity to attend this 12-session class with their parent or a coach or a mentor. But they have to come with, you know, an adult. And part of that training, those 12 sessions, one of the sessions is focused 100% on Know the Law. So it's a really, really great program. You can imagine that unfortunately, the program is always full. One of the biggest sort of code of conduct violations is marijuana use, alcohol use, and then vaping multiple times. And so that is often why kids get put into this program. And I told you about sorry, I'm going to flip through my notes here because I want to be mindful of the time. And then on the side note, if you're convicted or if you violated just a vaping violation of the code of conduct for the first time, then there's a separate nicotine, tobacco, and vaping education class, which also has a portion of the Know the Law in it. So the Know the Law is very much, it's valued. And thankfully, with this nighttime ZIP program, the recidivism is very, very low. You do not often see young people coming back through this program. And the program is, like I said, it's not just Know the Law, it's learning about natural high, how our brains are wired. I know, Gwen, we talked a lot about, you know, the brains are not developed until they're 24. And so when a kid says, I really didn't think that would happen to me, oftentimes they don't have the capability to think if this, then that. So we talk a lot about natural high. We talk about relationship violence, you know, so there's a lot of things that are addressed. And then as far as our teen court and the Neighborhood Accountability Board, that once again is related directly to the Department of Juvenile Justice and the Civil Citation Program, which we were thrilled several years ago when the Civil Citation Program got expanded so that a young person can actually get up to 3 civil citations in their life, with the opportunity to not have a felony on their record, but have an opportunity to go through you know, a program where sanctions, I mean, and this involves writing a letter of apology to the person. That a lot of times we're looking at petty theft at Target or Walmart. So, you know, letters have to be written, letters of apology to parents or guardians, then the Know the Law class. And then counseling is provided. So there's a lot of really great wraparound services. It's not the end of the road if the young person gets the civil citation, and Know the Law once again is valued enough to be part of that program. Let's see, what else do I have for you? And really, I just wanted to show you, and I'll send this to you, Allie, as well, that our Neighborhood Accountability Board, this is the sentencing agreement, and you can see that it, when I send it to you, you can see that Know the Law is part of that sanction. So it's a great, great program. It's not just about drugs and alcohol, which I think is very, very important, but it does sort of give an overview of the ability for parents and young people to have a conversation about what does this mean and how can I be more accountable? How can maybe a parent hold them more accountable? And then also understanding that, you know, the age of consensual sex is 18. It's not 16 like it was a few years ago. And so what does that mean? What does that mean if I'm dating a freshman and I'm a senior? You know, so those kind of conversations are really, really, really important, because, you know, what is that old adage, when you know you really are supposed to do better, right? So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I know I kind of sped through it super fast, but I'm happy to send you guys the you know, the materials. And then this actually is in 23 counties in the state of Florida. This program is. So it's nice to know that we're all sort of teaching the same thing. The PowerPoint is exactly the same. The pre and post test is the same. And then of course we're measuring that knowledge gained, which is very, very important. And we often talk about, well, maybe we need to add a question about this because something new has, you know, the vaping thing. Now that we're not just vaping nicotine, but now we're vaping THC, the Delta 8s that are on the market at every, you know, tobacco store. We need to be able to have those conversations as well.
Well, thank you, Sally, so much. You had so much great information for us. I know that you said that you support here in Duval, but there's over 20 counties in the state of Florida that
Yes,
do know the law program.
yes.
How would some of our leaders get in touch with, someone that could come into their schools or builder clubs or even their Kiwanis club so they could learn a little bit more?
Oh, that's a great question. And what I would suggest, and I'll send this link to you, Allie, the Community Coalition Alliance is sort of the umbrella. It's the coalition of coalitions, so to speak. And many of the coalitions within the county are a part of that. So what I think I will do is I will send you that link as well as the list of counties that currently have the Know the Law program, along with the Prevention Coalition that is providing that. So that way you would be able to reach out directly to the Prevention Coalition and and have them come in and give the training. We even like the trainer model with this. So where somebody would come in, train several people who are interested in being trainers, provide the materials for you, because we just want to get this out. There's no sort of proprietary agreement that we need to worry about. So I'll be happy to provide that. The other thing I would like to say too is that in this, what we learned from COVID is that we absolutely can hold meetings like this. So if anybody on the call who's interested in just reaching even out to Drug Free Duval, we can provide the training for a group that you put together. That would be fine too. So I'll make sure that you have some resources, Allie, to share. And then, but we are always available to answer questions or make the connection.
Oh, that's great. Well, if you will send me those links, I'll add them on our video.
Absolutely.
In our follow-up email. And if it's okay, your contact information as
Oh,
well.
100%. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Gwen.
I just wanted to know if you know offhand if Broward County has one of those affiliations, because I know I would love to. We have at our town hall mental health symposiums, we have a lot of resource tables that we invite, and that's so that the parents can go around and get all of this information. And so I didn't know if they were here in Broward or not.
That is a good question. We do have some sort of southeastern counties, and off the top of my head, I don't remember all of them, but I will double check that.
Okay.
And make sure that we get that information out to you. I know that this, like I said, this environmental strategy is very well received, partially because it's self-serve once you get the training, right? I mean, it's so easy. We don't have to recreate the wheel. But Gwen, that's a great question, and I'll get that information to you.
Great, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Well, Sally, I had one more question for you.
Sure.
The Know the Law class, you said it's 12 sessions. Is that always offered virtually, or is that also in person?
No, and actually the Know the Law is, so the 12 sessions is the nighttime zeroing in on prevention program. The Know the Law is one of the sessions. So it's one night. That is in person. Yes. So we prefer to do in person if at all possible. We have the ability now where we use a Scantron for the pre and post test. So it's not so much wasting paper, and then we just update that into a zip grade program. But yes, the one for the nighttime zip is 1 hour. I don't remember which session it is, and I apologize, but it is 1 hour and it is 100% in person.
I had one more question.
Yes.
I know that you had said regarding the infractions, and they were able to take a lesser infraction 3 times.
Yes.
Before it would turn into a possible felony. When their juvenile status is finished and they're now an adult, does that change that count, or did you say that was a lifetime?
You mean as far as the civil citation?
As far as the 3, yes.
The three, I believe that so it would actually be the 4th would make it to be the felony that would stick, so to speak. Am I misunderstanding your question?
No, that was part of it. The other part was, does the count stop when say a juvenile reaches adulthood and then starts again, or is this lifetime?
No, this is for youth. This is for youth. The civil citation is for young people.
Only
Yes.
for now.
And
Okay.
if we, you know, it makes so much sense if you think about, if we go back to our brain development, to give that, to have one thing happen in their life that is going to wreck their life forever is actually very sad and discouraging personally. You know, I mean, yeah. So I think it's a really, really great thing. But no, once you're an adult, it changes.
Game changes. Okay.
Yes, the game changes.
Gotcha.
That's a good question. I have to think on that one.
Well, Diana, did you have any questions? I didn't want to skip past you.
No, great question. I mean, do you have that in Dade County? I
In
know.
Dade County, we do. Well, there is a coalition in Dade County. There's several. So let me confirm once again and get that information to Allie. The other thing is that, you know, you guys can go to your coalition if it's not there and say, hey, we heard about this great program. It kind of makes sense for it to sit at the prevention coalition, but maybe somebody else wants to take it on. And then I'm sure that we can share that information. So I think at the end of the day, we're, like I said, we are about sharing the information, getting the information out, helping the youth make better decisions. We can't live in our little silos anymore. It just doesn't work. It's hard enough to, you know, whatever money is available for prevention. I mean, we want to be able to multiply that by being able to work with multiple partners. So if you don't have a coalition, but you have somebody who might be interested in, you know, taking this on, then we can talk.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. It's nice to be back and have our meet and greets for this new year. And Sally, thank you for joining us. I look forward to getting that information. I'll make sure that everyone gets a copy of it and that we can connect in our local communities. So thank you all for attending. Thank you again, Sally, and I hope everyone has a great night. We'll see you next month.